The Hog Sty is brought to you by TicketClub.com, your one-stop shop for live events nationwide. Whether you're looking for game, theater, or live performance tickets, don't sweat it. TicketClub.com has you covered. So make sure you're going there for all your live entertainment needs, and make sure you're clicking over to them from the banner at the top of thehogsty.com.
By fans, for fans, the Hog Sty. And now, here's your host, Sean Conti.
Another day, another episode. Welcome back to the Hog Sty podcast, the only podcast that rocks twice a week, every week, no matter the Redskins' record, which is 0-4, by the way, heading into their Week 5 bout with Patriots on Sunday. My name is Sean Conti. Steve Thomas, Alex Zeese, and Jamal Forrest are here to talk about the game and what to expect. How are you doing, guys? And last episode, we speculated Jay Gruden might be fired before we next recorded. Obviously, that did not happen. How's that sitting with you?
You know what occurred to me just as you were talking, Sean? It said, we do more podcasts per week than the Redskins might win games on the season. Think about that
yes.
one.
Easily.
We're the over-under.
That's quite a statement, though.
That's a little nerve-wracking right
Yeah,
there.
think about that. What's the over and under on? Do we take bets on this? Do the Redskins win more games than we record podcasts during the week?
So do they win 3 games,
Correct.
basically, is the question.
Yeah, that's all they have to do.
Unless you're counting Rick's show and...
No, I'm counting just the Hog Sty. That's it. Not a just business. Not.
So we're talking about 2 shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 to tie, 3 to win.
Man.
Yeah.
So we could do 2.5.
Yeah, let's do 2.5.
2.5. I think
you're a gambling man.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get 3 wins. 3 or 4 wins. We can't go 2-14 or nothing like that.
No.
No. Let's hope not.
I hope. I hope.
Go. Sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying. I hope not too. Yeah, I was agreeing.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Well, like I said, tell me how you guys are feeling about this whole Jay Gruden thing. And I know we do have a poll on this very subject too, so we can get on to that as well before we talk some Patriots.
How do we feel about the fact that Jay Gruden's still employed?
Yeah, it was a total rumor. Obviously, last week he was going to be gone.
It doesn't surprise me. I wouldn't have fired him personally, not because he's doing a gangbusters knockout job or anything, but I mean it's week 4 for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go firing your coach in week 4 or absent some he killed somebody. Then maybe deserves to be fired. But I mean for God's sakes, let the season run a little bit. I mean just relax. I mean these fans are just going crazy, and I understand that, but I mean let it roll a little bit at least. If you get to like week 10. Or 12 or something. Okay, fine.
Fans have kind of just gone nuts. Every 20 minutes, I'll see something on social media. Oh, Jay's going to get fired. I've heard it from somebody. And no, you haven't. So calm the hell down.
You heard it from Stephen A. Smith,
right?
I was literally about to say that.
Stephen A. Smith has less information on the Redskins. He's got less informers there than you and I do. Stephen A. Smith has no contacts on the team. I don't know where people keep coming.
Hey, I'm a
with
Stephen
him
A.
from.
Smith fan, but
you like him for basketball.
Yeah,
I remember when I lived in Philly, man. He used to write locally there, and even then he was terrible on football.
I would never he's an information guy. I will never question that man when it comes to sources. That's the one thing. I leave it at that. But it's kind of crazy though, because every single week, and that's what I was going to say. Every single week, it's always a new report. You're hearing the guy's going to get fired soon. From a fan perspective, I'm over it. I don't care.
Yeah.
We at this point, the way the season has turned out, it's only been 4 games, but enough to know he's not coming back at the end of this season. So whatever happens, whenever they do it, it's gonna, it's okay. But just people are just trying to be right at this point, talking about when he's going to get fired. Right. Nobody knows.
I'll tell you what's most important to me, though. Honestly, I mean, it needs to be the development of Dwayne Haskins.
Sure.
Whatever is best for him is what needs to happen. If that means keeping Jay on for a while, fine. What I don't like is that the franchise really doesn't seem to be supporting this kid very much. That's what bothers me far more than the fact that Jay Gruden's here, and I know the fans want to send a hitman out to to Greg Minuski's house at this point. I mean, I get all that, but what's really important to me is that they don't ruin this quarterback, because I'm afraid that that's where we're going with this.
And Steve, I'm just going to assume he's going to get ruined. Do you know why? Because we already did everything in the wrong order. You don't draft a quarterback when a coach is on the hot seat. That's, basic football management.
That's not fair, though, Alex. I mean, this last year, at the end of the season, they had literally no healthy quarterbacks. They had to draft a quarterback.
No, you go with a veteran if you're going to keep Jay Gruden, or you replace him.
They brought in Case Keenum, but they had to draft a quarterback. I don't blame them for drafting a quarterback. You know what I don't.
If he's supposed to be the franchise quarterback, I blame him for drafting him.
I don't. I mean, he's on the board. He was the best pick at the time. He was highly rated. I mean, I get it, but the God's honest truth is, if Jay didn't like him, they probably should have fired Jay last year.
Well, they should. Yes, you either fire Jay and start with a new coach, new quarterback, like most good teams do. That's how teams build. Or you say, all right, Jay, you got 1 year left. Who do you want? What free agent do you want to try and save you?
Well, they did do that, though. I mean, we on this show repeatedly said that you have to draft a quarterback. You have to draft a quarterback. We said, all of us.
Yeah, but I said that like in the third or fourth round. I wasn't saying Haskins.
Well, I think just overall that. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
I was just saying, I think overall that these guys, it was a bad situation to begin with, and I don't think they necessarily did it wrong. It was just more. Oh, excuse me. Let me clarify. If they were going to get rid of Jay Gruden, or if they were unsure about him in the first place, they should have never kept him on. Like, they should have just cut bait already. Secondly, if you're going to get a quarterback in, you gotta kind of like treat these guys like they're equal, in the sense that cases where Colt McCoy is, but you also got to treat these guys in the sense where you're going to give Dwayne Haskins a fair chance, you're going to give Case Keenum a fair chance, but also you're going to emphasize the development of Dwayne Haskins, and at this point they've done it to a degree, but they haven't done it enough, and what I mean by that is they haven't really gave him that opportunity to see a lot of first team reps and see a lot of live bullets when it really mattered. Even if they were protecting him, you could have gave him a little bit more responsibility in the preseason, and now you're in a situation where Jay's about to get fired, and you have a year where you could have used to go against like his 5th year option, and it's kind of gonna go to waste, because you're going to have to deal with another coach these next 4 years.
You know what's really fundamentally bothered me about this whole situation is that never once have I heard anybody from the Washington Redskins say Dwayne Haskins is the future of this franchise. He is the man, and we are going to do everything we can to make sure that he gets there. Instead, what we hear is nothing from the front office, of course, and then Jay Gruden, in his presser says, well, he's the third stringer and he's going to have to earn his way on the field. And, for better or for worse, the New York Giants said that from day one about Daniel Jones. They made it known to everybody that Daniel Jones is the future. And they told everybody that, like Jamal said, they got him a lot of playing time in the preseason. We have not done that with Dwayne Haskins, and it's just starting to get weird. And I don't like it, and I don't think it's good for the kid.
I mean, I agree. It's not good. If you are developing a quarterback, you want that kind of to be the focus of your, practices. And I will say, we did give him a ton of playing time in preseason. So, he probably played a majority of every game in preseason. I'd have to go back and look exactly who played the most snaps, but I think he took more snaps than anyone else of our three quarterbacks. Did you ever
get the sense that they were doing that because Dwayne Haskins is the man and the future of the franchise?
No, I got the sense they were doing it to develop him.
I didn't.
I think it would have been a different story if Colt McCoy was here. And I don't want to. I kind of already did it, but I don't want to play into the hypothetical world. But you do gotta take into account the fact that he was playing in training camp, and our guy Jay, who was also down there at training camp. I think one day while I was there, and then he was there for a couple of other days. He kind of saw the same thing that I saw. when it came to Colt McCoy, he was getting it was Colt McCoy and Case Keenum. They were 1 and 2. And then you had Dwayne Haskins doing the mop-up duty. Like, they said that Dwayne Haskins was getting starting reps. Well, if that was the case, by the time I got there, it drastically dwindled. He was not getting any starter reps. It was 1 and 2, Colt McCoy, Case Keenum. So that's why I say, yeah, he was getting some work in preseason, but he was also getting work in preseason against low-level competition, which is, not a big deal, but they weren't necessarily doing it for a sense to get him the amount of reps or the quality reps that he needs. He wasn't working with people that were going to be on this team moving forward. He was working with random people for the most part. And it would have helped him if he could have got more time with people that were going to actually be on this team.
Yeah, I mean, just playing him here or there throughout the season, it's not working for me.
Well,
I mean, after seeing him, again,
assuming that will happen.
Yeah,
assuming
right. Yeah, I mean, if what happened against the Giants is going to happen periodically through the year, I don't know, man. I'm totally okay, as I've said, with him sitting the entire year. If that's what it helps him get better, fine. But this, letting him play here or there, get beat up, let's put him in the fourth quarter against, the Patriots or whatever. I'm not sure that's really what's best for him.
Well,
I think they to make him the man or not. That's what
they haven't announced who the quarterback. By the way, I don't buy that this whole story right now that Jay doesn't know who the quarterback's going to be for the Patriots game.
Yeah,
he
I
knows.
agree. I think we know.
Yeah,
or I think we know he knows.
I think we know. I think he knows. He's playing that old stupid. I'm not going to tell the Patriots anything through the press gamesmanship. Which,
as if the Patriots are worried about any of these quarterbacks.
No, they're not. But,
hey, Bill Belichick said all 3 of them are good.
Right. Well, Bill Belichick also said we have great
good
receivers.
Yeah, I really hate Bill Belichick for that. He did that last time we played him in 2015. I could have, the way he talked about us, I thought we were undefeated.
Right. That's their mentality, man. That's why they win.
Well, it's week to week for them, and they take everything seriously, and no doubt about that.
Yeah, but I just want to say, anyone who's panicking over what Jay Gruden said in a press conference about who's going to be the quarterback, you're an idiot. If you really think he doesn't know, you're an idiot. You might not like who he picks.
Well, the odds-on favorite is going to be Colt McCoy. I mean,
right.
I think if it was going to be Haskins, they would have said it on Monday.
Right, exactly.
And Keenum's in a boot, apparently. I mean, it's going to be Colt.
It's going to be Colt. Haskins will be the backup again.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's do poll and roster updates real quick because we do have a game to preview, but let's I know the poll was on this topic, so let's do that.
Yeah, okay, so the percentages are going to be a little tiny bit off because it's actually not sitting in front of me, but I was really curious as to what the public thought about a potential firing of Jay Gruden. So the question to the public was, do you think that firing Jay Gruden is going to help the 2019 Redskins? Not next year, this year. And overwhelmingly, I'm not going to ask you, there was only yes or no. Overwhelmingly, the answer was no. The percentage was something like 75 to 25 in that neighborhood, meaning that the vast majority of the public thought firing Jay Gruden is not going to help the Redskins this year in any way. And that tells, and based on the comments and stuff, again, I don't have it in front of me, but the comments were a lot of, people are just mad. They want him fired. Yeah. It's just retribution, more than anything else. Not that it's really going to help anything.
Right.
Well,
exactly. If you had framed it as do you want to see Jay Gruden fired, then probably I would imagine it would be overwhelmingly yes.
Right.
But no one has the expectation that the team's going to improve.
Yeah, that was really the bigger question to me is, okay, we know you want him fired. We know you're just mad. And I understand that. Is it really going to help anything? That was really what I wanted to see. And the answer overwhelmingly from the public was no.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that is it reminds me of the discussion we were having about the quarterbacks the other day, where would any of these quarterbacks save the season? Probably not. There's nothing you could do right now as the Redskins to salvage this season. That's what it's really coming down to. We could fire everybody. Yeah. We could change starters, change backups. We're going to go 3-4 wins. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's the most critical thing myself, too, Alex. Jay brought Dwayne in there to be a spark, a potential spark. Mm-hmm. And you just knew quickly, after that first drive, you just kind of knew quickly once everything settled down, that he's not going to help. And I don't think any quarterback that comes in is going to help. Mainly because it has nothing to do with just the quarterback position.
No.
It has a lot. There's so many other pieces going on that's just failing around Jay Gruden and his staff and his roster.
I did go back and watch every single Dwayne Haskins snap again, by the way. From this game, not from preseason. And what you want me to do the roster update real quick?
Yeah, because the roster update is one that we like personally,
okay.
I think.
Okay, so earlier in the week, meaning Tuesday, the Redskins waived Robert Davis from the active roster, waived Adonis Alexander from the practice squad, and then Wednesday signed Cam Sims to the active roster. So he is off the practice squad with the varsity team now. And then they brought back Darvin Kidsey, thank God. So Darvin Kidsey is on the practice squad again. They never should let that guy go. As of this moment, when we record, Davis is cleared with waivers, but we haven't heard if the Redskins are going to bring him back or not. There is now a practice squad slot open if they could bring him back if they wanted to, but we have not heard one way or another.
Interesting.
So Cam Sims, who was the hero of the 2018 preseason, is now back on the active roster. That's the most important thing. So,
all right,
roster.
Awesome.
So I watched all of Dwayne Haskins' snaps again from the Giants game. And after studying him a little bit, what I saw was he looked a bit shell-shocked to me.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like the game was just a little bit too fast for him. A lot of the passes he was throwing, it was first read, which is not something he did in Ohio State at all. Ohio State, he progressed through reads. He saw the field very well. I didn't think he was really seeing the field very well because, he was simultaneously rushing his throws and then also holding the ball too long, at other times. So it wasn't his best performance. I think it was one of those things where they sort of had to get that out of his system because he's a much better quarterback than what we saw. Mm-hmm. The interceptions, all of them were his fault. And the one that bounced off of Vernon Davis was his fault too, because if you watch that play closely, the timing was off. That pass was way too early. When the ball was, there was a difference between having the ball in the air when the receiver's making his break and then having it literally right in his chest the nanosecond he turns around, and that's what happened. So the ball was early, and that's why it hit Davis and it bounced all over the place. So I think it was was genuinely a poor performance for the most part by Haskins. But I think all that stuff are things that are going to get a lot better once he kind of gets used to things. So that was my impression after watching him again.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Typical rookie stuff.
Yeah, I about to say I can't say much. Like I said, when I think I think I was here Sunday. I don't remember.
You were. Remember?
Okay, I was here Sunday. So I was here Sunday, and I was saying because when it came to Haskins, I was like, it's kind of hard to evaluate him after a performance like that in the position that he was put in. But in terms of his performance, just looking at face value, I can't disagree. It was pretty bad. I just hope people out there understand. I just hate the fact that Giants fans are going to have a field day with things like this, and people who are so quick to, crown Haskins in the off season. People are throwing dirt at their name and stuff like that too. So it's like I hope people will realize they need to relax because that was just a terrible situation to begin. Being regardless.
Yeah, they didn't put him in a good situation. They put him in a horrible situation. So it really wasn't. They weren't. I guess that's my problem. Is they're not setting this kid up to succeed. You throw him in a game down 2 touchdowns with half the team out on injuries when he hasn't practiced at all, and say go. Hope you do well. Congrats. You're playing. That's not the way to go. That's what I didn't like about it.
No, and my issue. I mean, I don't think. I think we really harp too much on the negative. He did do some things very well that I really like. I think he's very good on these bootleg plays already as a rookie. And if you're in Jay Gruden's shoes and suddenly you have to start scheming around Haskins, let's say the owner tells you this is your quarterback, that kind of thing. You better just put 20 bootlegs in your passing game plan for that game because that seems to be where he's at his best. When he rolls out, you got a tight end low, maybe somebody mid-range. He's good at that. And then his ability to run. It surprised us in preseason a little. but he can move.
Didn't surprise me. I told everybody the guy could run from the beginning. I knew he could run because he did it at Ohio State. He's not a track star, but he's going to move around the pocket, and he can get you 5 yards when he has to. I knew that months and months ago. I don't know. I mean, I think all these things that I saw, and I'm no expert at all, but, I mean, I think I'm pretty close to what the experts would say on that. I think all it really takes is he just needs to be the starter and get some practice reps, and a lot of these problems go away.
Yeah, I think eventually that will happen with him, too. I think that you have a situation right now where you have a front office that's kind of burned the coach, and the coach is just desperate to try and win a game, and he doesn't want to groom a rookie until he's totally out of it, you know?
Yeah.
To put it simply.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was going to say I kind of don't like his approach and how he does this. Now I understand Jay, and we've kind of our team, the Hog Sty team, is what I'm referring to. I think our team has been quite fair in understanding Jay when he's serious or when he's not serious or when he's sarcastic and things like that. We're pretty fair and balanced in how we critique him. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily lean one way or the other too harshly or too hard. But when it comes to this situation in itself, it's become very draining because the guy, he does come off outside his sarcasm. In his serious comments, he does come off as a guy who doesn't necessarily understand the significance of trying to groom Dwayne Haskins to be the guy. He's more so focused about he's not going to hand him anything, or he's not like it's on the sense like Dwayne has to prove something to him versus we're going to try and get him the best help we need. Like his tune has changed over time. He was one way before he became this person that he sees in the regular season. So maybe his tone has changed because they're losing. Who knows?
No, I think everyone's tone is changing because they're losing. If losing doesn't make you upset and change how you act,
and agitated as he is, but I mean, the message could stay the same, but apparently, like it still could. That's the thing. Like I would want to know like why his message has changed now to more so of an annoyance tone versus understanding that this was something that needed to be done.
Well, I think you're sort of saying something similar to what I said in the beginning, Jamal. I think, which is that somebody on this team, and probably is Jay, needs to come out and flat out say, Dwayne Haskins is the man, and we're going to do everything we can to develop him. And then they need to do it. And that's not what he said. It's like you said, he's annoyed. He doesn't want to talk about it. It's like Dwayne has to prove himself with no help at all. No, this guy is the future of the franchise. He could be here for 15 years if it went really, really well. And
Jay has had nothing but quarterback questions since he started this job.
It's crazy, ain't it?
Years ago. That's, I think, where the annoyance is coming from and why he's blowing the questions off. Is this is in every year, every week question for Jay. Who are you going to play at quarterback? What are you going to do about quarterback?
Right.
I think that's really what it is. And he knows his days are numbered, as we've been saying over and over again. So I think that's where the tone is. It's just, if I were him in his situation, I'd be blowing it off too.
Well, I think the problem is because of the front office. I don't think it has to come from Jay. I think that's where you're wrong. This should be coming from Bruce or Dan.
Oh, I agree.
And because they've clearly told Jay Gruden, you have to win. And if he has to win, then it's not about the quarterback.
Listen, I mean, Bruce Allen needs to speak a lot more than he does, which is to say never.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
When was the last time? What is it now? What's it up to now, his streak?
Well, he gave some brief comments during the offseason, remember?
He spoke about Trent Williams. That was the last thing I remember.
Yeah, and then he gave a couple interviews around the draft when the Redskins were getting real high grades for the draft, but he hasn't taken questions from the local media, from the Hog Sty and bigger than us, the local.
Well, he'll never take questions from us.
Hey, I can dream. Listen, I can dream. Okay.
Once he's fired, he'll take questions from us.
Here's what I would do though. If I knew this is my last year, I would just I would do my research and understand what Mike Shanahan did in 2013.
Burn every bridge.
Where he benched. I think Robert Griffin at the time. And just said, we're gonna put him on IR. We're gonna start Kirk for the rest of the year. and prove that his offense works. I would do the inverse. Or I think this is the inverse. You guys can correct me. You're much smarter than me. But what I would do is I would start Dwayne, but I would also show that I can develop a rookie quarterback. If I know this is going to be my last year, I'm going to make sure that I leave Washington with a guy that everybody knew that I developed him and made sure that he was ready to go for the next coach by the time whoever that coach is or whoever that offensive coordinator is.
No, I think you're right. Yep. Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
That would be my last. That would be my last message or last gift for the Redskins and their fans.
Hopefully, he's in a gift-giving mood. Steve, do you have any injury updates by any chance? Patriots skins ahead of this preview.
Oddly enough, we didn't get an injury input today from the Redskins. Let me check right now to make sure it didn't.
No, we did. I have one. Vernon Davis.
Oh, I did get it. I missed it. I hadn't looked.
Yeah,
okay,
Vernon Davis got a concussion.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the injury update.
Great.
Give me 1 second. Here's the injury update. Sorry, I missed it earlier today. Okay. Injuries. Yeah, like Alex said, Vernon Davis has concussion. Who knew? We didn't know he had a concussion until yesterday.
Right.
Josh Harvey Clemens, DNP hamstring. Case Keenum, DNP foot. Jordan Reed, of course, the never-ending concussion. He's still out. The bad news is Brandon Scherf did not practice at all on Wednesday. Terry McLaurin was limited with the hamstring, so that's better than Terry McLaurin DNP.
Right.
Josh Norman, Chase Rouillet limited. And Matt Ioannidis, Drawn Payne are nicked up.
Good grief.
Yeah. So it's getting bad from a Patriots standpoint.
It's kind of bad too for them, as I understand.
Yeah, Patrick Chung limited. They just lost the kicker.
Right.
For the season.
Did you hear who they worked out? Cobra Kai Forbath.
Huh, wouldn't that be?
Did they really?
You realize what's going to happen is he's going to kick it like a game-winning field goal or something against us.
Well, no, because that would mean the game will be close.
Hey, maybe you never know. It might be close. The Redskins have a tendency to play up sometimes. But okay, injuries. So Rex Burkhead, Patrick Chung, Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, Dante Hightower, all limited. So yeah. The Patriots are a bit banged up.
Yeah,
that's injuries.
Gordon and Edelman. That's a lot of their offense right there. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is obviously it needs no introduction. This is Patriots week. This is rough. They're 4-0. We are 0-4. Probably going to be a bit of a bloodbath. Where do you guys want to take this first? Talk Patriots offense first, Redskins defense. I mean, so should we start with Tom Brady?
Yeah, let's do that. All right. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys to start this. Will Brady even miss a pass versus this Swiss cheese defense of ours?
Oh yeah, Brady has had weirdly a bit of an off year. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he finally starting to look like a 40-something?
No, I mean, really and truly, like his overall season numbers are down. He's at 62% completion percentage. His quarterback rating is 97.5, which is still good, but it's not up to Tom Brady standards. He's 15th in yardage. So he's been a bit mortal. In the offense, if you really
because they're scoring efficiently, man. That's what it is. Because they're scoring a lot of points,
the offense
but they don't
has
have
been
a lot of yards.
Bit off though. Just kind of generally speaking, the offense has not been this mighty Patriot juggernaut, despite the fact that they've really run up the score on people. They beat up on the Steelers, who stink.
Right.
They beat up on the Dolphins, who are the worst team in football, and then the Jets are probably the second worst team in football. And so they ran up the score against a bunch of awful teams, and then they got to the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bill, the Bills game was probably Tom's worst game.
Mm-hmm. Bills have been unexpectedly good this year. It
definitely was the worst game.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't hear. All of you were talking on top of each other. I couldn't hear any of you.
I just said the Bills are a tough team this year, so that's not an indictment on the Patriots that they struggled, I think, against Buffalo.
Yeah. So point being here is that Tom Terrific, has been something less than terrific. That's by their standards, okay? They're still fourth in points.
Right.
They're 15th in yardage. The run game is flat out sucked. The run game is stunk. They're 28th in the league in rushing yards per attempt. They're down in the Redskins territory in terms of effectiveness of their run game, and that's saying a lot.
They're way better than us.
No, they're not.
They're way better.
They're not way
my
better than
goodness.
us. They're not way better than us.
Are they not?
They're averaging 3.2 yards per attempt this year on 114 attempts. They've only rushed for 365 yards in the entire season. Their run game is every bit as bad as the Redskins.
What have we rushed for?
What's our total? Yeah, I was going to say, what's our total rushing yards?
I don't remember the last time I've ever seen the Redskins a 15-point underdog or a double-digit underdog at home. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
that's crazy.
The Patriots are favored by 15 points, and that just goes to show you like Vegas doesn't even respect the Redskins, and if they don't respect the Redskins, you might want to pay attention to that. That's completely disrespectful.
To answer your question, the Redskins only have 199 yards rushing, but they've only had 68 attempts. Okay, the Redskins are averaging 2.9 yards per attempt. The Patriots are only at 3.2. I mean, they have not been an effective run team. Okay.
They've still got like 33% more yards than we do on the season.
You're
right.
They've had significantly more attempts. But point is, that's not what ought to scare anybody, offense-wise. I mean, this is they're facing another bad defense in the Redskins. And so, will they run the score up? Probably.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that this is not the same Patriots juggernaut as it has been in years past. They've just been fortunate to play 3 out of 4 bad teams.
If you worried about Tom's completion percentage before today's game, this is the perfect week for him to get his stats right.
Get well week,
beautiful after this one.
Tom will have a get well week. But some of the threats, I mean, listen, you want to talk offense?
It's pretty clear. Yeah, stay on Patriots offense.
It's pretty awful. Clear. You've got Josh Gordon, who nobody on the Redskins can cover him.
No.
Julian Edelman. Always finds a way. But I think really in terms of capabilities, now that Gronk is gone, I think Gordon's stats aren't wonderful on the season, okay? But, I mean, he only has 14 receptions, 221 yards. He's averaging almost 16 yards a reception. He's kind of the new Gronk. Big guy, fast guy, uncoverable. I don't know who in the world on the Redskins could possibly hope to cover Josh Gordon. That's a serious problem.
So what do you do? Exactly. What are you going to do? Because the Redskins are getting a lot of criticism now for having soft zone coverage.
Here's what you do.
Deep, coverage. Probably trying to protect against the deep threat.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to work out.
I do have an answer for this, though, Sean.
Okay.
Because the teams that beat the Patriots, this is what they do. They make Tom Brady very uncomfortable. And you have to do it in a way. I'm not saying that they're going to do it. I'm saying if you want to beat the Patriots, you have to put so much pressure on Tom Terrific that he gets really uncomfortable and frustrated. Because if you just blitz him, he's going to pick you apart. And this weird soft zone thing the Redskins do won't work at all. But if you hit him repeatedly and over again, think about what the Giants did to him in the Super Bowl several years ago. They hit him over and over and over and over again. They got him mad. They got him frustrated. That's when he starts yelling at people on the sidelines. That's how to beat the Patriots. Now, can the Redskins do that? Of course not.
Of course not. But you can't hit anybody.
Yeah. You would need a couple good pass rushers, and we don't have that off the edge yet.
No, I feel like we do. They're not playing like pass rushers. So,
exactly.
I mean, yeah. I agree, Steve. I mean, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. There's not really anything else we can do. It's just that the key to success in this game is not something the Redskins have shown. Any ability
and I'll tell you what the other thing I would do is I would dump this cover 3. Okay? I don't think that's good for the Redskins in this situation. I think you need to have 2 safeties back. I think you either play cover 2 or cover 4 against the Patriots to guard against Josh Gordon and, for that matter, Edelman getting cheap, easy touchdowns.
Yeah.
If you just have the single high safety, we've had problems with that. We've seen touchdowns as a result of that, because they're not communicating well. And, that's happened to the Redskins this year. So if it were me, I wouldn't play nearly as much cover 3. I would play a lot more 2 safeties high looks.
Our buddy Bullock, Mark Bullock, he's been doing a lot of breakdowns of the Redskins' zone defense lately. And it's just amazing how often there's always at least 2 guys out of position in the zone defense. Yeah. A guy goes inside when he should be staying to the outside on his coverages and things. Just if you don't have guys capable of playing zone, you got to figure out how to start playing some man-to-man or something. I'm not really sure what you do.
Maybe you guys out there listening need to stop getting mad at Greg Minuski and start worrying about Ray Horton.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think that might be cool.
These guys have been struggling well before Ray Horton got here, and it's kind of crazy how these well, I ain't gonna go into the mesh concepts, but these guys have been struggling well before Ray Horn got here, and it's ridiculous that you can consistently have communication issues for sometimes these appear to be simple coverages. For defensive players who've been in the league for a while or who've been playing defense for a while, you shouldn't really have communication issues seeing these formations that you play the coverages against and personnel that you played against. So I just don't understand it, but good luck to them. I don't think man coverage will help because these guys they play better in zone, like if they're a little bit more physical, but they're not always physical, and that's the issue. So man coverage, they're liable to get cooked.
Yeah, who's going to cover Josh Gordon in man coverage? On the Redskins?
I mean, that's the problem.
Julian Edelman is one of the most shiftiest receivers in the NFL, so it's just hard to do. If the coaches allow them to put their hands on the receivers this week, you don't even have to play man really, but you could play press zone. So it can work, but they cannot keep playing off because they don't even know how to talk to each other defensively.
It's weird. I just don't know. I mean, you're so right, Jamal, and I don't know why that is. It's gotten a lot worse this year for some reason. It's like they just forgot how to play football, as a unit. I don't understand what changed so much between last year and this year in that regard.
They don't know. It's literally like they forgot how to play football, and they're professional football players, and that's what really bothers me. It's incredible, and it's not even people get on Manusky for certain things, and I'm like, what does that have to do with the fact that some people just forget basic defensive assignments, fundamentals of the game, like common knowledge things if you're a defensive player, somebody holding the edge, and simple things like I just don't understand it. Filling gaps, I really don't get it.
I have a hard time.
An issue that's
I have
not
a hard
Manusky's
time
problem.
blaming Greg Manusky for all that stuff you're talking about. I really do.
Exactly.
And it's like, and we're talking about veterans. We're not talking about Jimmy Moreland messing things up. We're talking about Josh Norman, Quentin Dunbar, Fabian Moreau, all these safeties who've been around for a while. I don't understand it. And if they have any chance of winning this game whatsoever, they cannot have these kind of breakdowns, against the Patriots.
Right.
But I'm serious. My game plan would be mercilessly blitz Tom Brady every play. Drop the two safeties back as much as possible, and hope for the best, and hope to cut off the deep ball. That's what I would. That's what I would do. And because the other thing is, Tom Brady hasn't been throwing the ball particularly well. He's not been going deep a lot. So I think if you cut that off, I mean, maybe have a shot at it. I mean, realistically, they don't, but.
Right.
That's what I would
do. Realistically, they don't. Don't get us wrong. We're not saying Greg Manusky's good. Greg Manusky isn't good. We're just saying some of these players are just not. They're not there.
There's some foundational problems. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of them. Okay, let's quickly flip on over to the other side of the ball. This one's a little bit difficult to preview since we don't. Well, actually, we do. In effect, know who's going to be playing quarterback, no matter how coy Jay Gruden wants to play in the media. But gosh, Patriots are playing really, really well on defense. They're top in a lot of statistical categories. Including all the ones that matter, yards and points. So this is an extremely difficult matchup for the Redskins' ramshackle offense right now.
You want to know who the real nightmare is?
Sure.
Jamie Collins.
Unexpected.
Expound on that.
This dude, listen to what this dude is. The Patriots are masters at finding reclamation projects and turning them into great players. Jamie Collins was with the Patriots several years ago, went to Cleveland, got cut, and now he's back, and this is what he's doing. He's leading the team in sacks, tackles, and tackles both, and has 3 interceptions on the year. He's second only to Devin McCourty in interceptions on the year. This guy has been everywhere. Everywhere. You wouldn't have naturally thought Jamie Collins when you're talking about the Patriots. You think Stephon Gilmore. You think the McCourty brothers, I mean, that's who you think of. But Jamie Collins has been their everything. And listen to the numbers. The numbers are just incredible. Again, mind you, they've played a bunch of weak sister offenses, okay? Number 1 in points surrendered. Number 2 in total yards. The only team that's better than them is the 49ers, who've only played 3 games. So they're, in effect, number 1 in total yards, too. number 1 in yards per game, number 1 in yards per play, number 3 in passing yards, number 3 in rushing yards, number 1 in opponent third down conversion, number 1 in the red zone, number 1 in sacks, number 1 in interceptions.
They have 10 interceptions.
Yep.
I just saw that.
Number
That's
1
crazy.
in turnover ratio. These guys have annihilated everybody, but they've played Miami, the Jets, and Pittsburgh.
Right.
So,
and you know who we're not
And
better than?
we qualify with these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I mean, and we're another one, so they're probably going to run their defensive stats up even more against us. But they've just annihilated absolutely everybody. Opposing quarterback rating, ready for this? 41. First in the NFL, lowest in the NFL.
Wow.
Yeah, 52% completion percentage, opponent completion percentage, first in the NFL. This defense is first in almost every single major statistical category on defense. By far and away the most successful defense in football, and it's not close, including the Bears.
This is gonna be awful because if Colt's going, I feel like he actually is gonna hurt McLaurin's productivity in the game.
Yeah, because he can't throw deep.
He can't throw deep, exactly. I think a lot of those deep plays are going to become really ineffective. We don't have the running game to support it. I don't know. Regardless of what happens the rest of the season, this might not be the week to play Colt.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of deep balls, to be perfectly honest. Because think about, look at their secondary.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore, all-pro. Patrick Chung, outstanding player. Devin McCourty, Jason McCourty. These guys are experienced Super Bowl champions. They don't make a lot of mistakes. You're not going to get like Terry McLaurin running a post free down the middle of the field against the Patriots.
No, but you got to try because we're not going to score right away. They most likely are. We're going to get in a hole. You're going to have to. They're going to try to force the issue at some point. I think Colt's going to actually be potentially the least effective of our quarterbacks at trying to do that. But hey,
he won't survive the whole game. Probably.
They're going to put a Craigslist out for ad for quarterbacks at some point this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let me sign up.
Yeah, come on, hey.
Sign me up. I'll try it. Won't be any good. I'll try it.
Before we do score predictions, is there anything else that we can say that's a key to success on offense for this game? Anything besides the obvious?
Just take a knee every down. Save yourself the trouble.
If you want to give a pathway to success, it's always the same with the Redskins. You're not going to pass a lot against this team. You probably aren't going to run a lot either, but the Redskins, if they have any chance to beat any team, it's always because they can get a run game established. So if you can figure out some way to actually get some yardage and some effective carries against the Patriots, maybe things will open up a little bit, and then maybe they can start moving down the field. Not going to happen, most likely, but if you want a game plan to success on offense, that's what you do. You have to figure out how to run the ball against these guys. And the other thing is, you got to run the ball because their time of possession is just off the charts. Another thing that they're number one in the league in is time of possession. They have had the ball, wrong page, they're second, 32 minutes, 54 seconds on average, second in the NFL. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for that. Love that final stat. Let's do some predictions then. Although I shudder to think what this is going to be, I'll go ahead and lead us off here. Our defense is not playing well, as we all know, 30 points practically every week. I don't think that's going to change. Call it 35 for the Patriots, and I think the Skins, my goodness. I'm going to say 10, although that seems like too much.
You're being generous.
Yeah, I know. 35-10 Patriots, and that is a generous score. You're right.
All right.
Actually, I think you're lowballing the Patriots. I think this is where we get 40 put on us, 42, and I'm thinking the Skins get 14 because the Patriots kind of just give up in the fourth quarter. We get an easy touchdown.
We get a garbage time TD.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see it.
Jamal?
I'll say 31-13, 31-17, something like that. But it's not close. So I don't know. I don't know how that score comes about, but it's not close.
And it's never close at any point during the game.
I'm gonna
it's not
I'm gonna
gonna be close.
return to my normal negative self about this game. And just because
Good to have you back.
I know. Just because I gave a possible pathway to winning this game does not mean it's going to happen. I think this is a blowout. The Patriots have given up 2 touchdowns the entire year. Okay, I think this game is
wow.
The Jets ran up 14 points on them, and the Bills ran up 10. And that's it. The Steelers got a field goal. I think this game is 45-3.
Wow.
I don't think the Redskins score a touchdown. I don't think they get anything going all year. I think the Patriots basically all game. I think the Patriots do whatever they want. It's going to be a massacre, folks. 45-3.
You could have stuck with all year.
No, I don't think that. Because we've got the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are a horrible team. The Dolphins belong in the Arena League. The Redskins.
You're jinxing us so hard with this Dolphins thing, dude.
I'm just looking at the numbers. That's all. I'm looking at the numbers.
No, I get it. Okay, cool. So we are all predicting a major loss here this week, and I think we're all pretty justified in doing so.
Right.
Those are our predictions. This is the Hog Sty. Any lingering thoughts you guys want to throw
out?
I
got 2, actually. Happy Pinktober, because it's October, and the NFL is going to make you look at pink football for the next month. So there's that.
Yay!
The other one, real quick, Bill Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals, died for 57 years, probably one of the least successful owners in NFL history. He had a 43.2 winning percentage over his career. You know who has a worse winning career percentage as an owner? Daniel Snyder, 43.1%.
And Bidwell dragged his Cardinals to the Super Bowl once, too, and the Redskins have not sniffed a Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay, you guys are really making me feel
note.
really good heading into Patriots week. I'll leave you with this thought. God, I actually went to a Redskins-Patriots game once at FedEx Field a couple years back, and the Redskins kept it pretty even, but lost at the end. And this, I'll never forget it. This chick walking out of the stadium at the end of the game in a pink Brady jersey, singing "Hail to New England," and I wanted to die. I wanted to cry. So that's the thought I'll leave you all with right now on this episode, and we will see you all next time after the game to dissect it and figure out what happened. We'll see you all next time right here on the Hog Sty. Take care.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm one of the hosts of Massive Late Fee. Do you remember Blockbuster? Well, we do, and we racked up a lot of late fees there. That's why we're glad there's things like Netflix, Hulu, and Blockbuster has died, mostly because of us. We cover streaming shows and pretty much whatever we want. Join us every Thursday as we talk TV and movies on Massive Late Fee. You can find us at Massive Late Fee on Twitter, Massive Late Fee on Facebook. You can email the show at massivelatefee@gmail.com, and you can find us at MySpace, Massive Late Fee. Massive Late Fee, the best podcast we can think of.